Dubai has no public bomb shelters. That single fact, confirmed by CNN on the night of February 28, 2026, as Iranian missiles were being intercepted over the city, tells you more about how Dubai was built and what it was built for than almost anything else you could know. When the sirens went off, when debris hit the Fairmont Hotel and set it on fire, when smoke rose near the Burj Al Arab and the Burj Khalifa, when Dubai International Airport was struck and evacuated, the residents of a city of 4 million people had nowhere designed for this moment. Many spent Saturday night in underground parking garages. Parents told their children that the explosions overhead were Ramadan cannon fire, the traditional signal for breaking the fast. Parents were using the sound of a festival to explain the sound of war. The next day, a CNN videographer described Abu Dhabi in a line I have not stopped thinking about since I read it. It was quiet and sunny, birds chirping, and there were no sounds of traffic or planes flying. Dubai without traffic. Dubai without planes. Dubai without tourists. That silence in a city engineered to be the loudest possible version of itself is what this video is about. Not the hotel rates, not the tourism statistics, the streets, and what the empty streets reveal about two structural truths this city was never designed to survive. Let me give you the human picture of those days because it matters for understanding everything that follows. When the airspace closed on February 28th, thousands of people who lived in Dubai and wanted to leave could not. Private jet charters were quoted at $250,000 on March 3rd. That was the market price for escaping via the only exit still available to those who could pay for it. Others drove hours across the desert to the Oman border, where taxi drivers were reportedly charging $800 for a 4.5-hour ride to Muscat. Western governments issued formal advice: leave or do not travel. Companies evacuated employees. The U.S. State Department told American citizens to depart Saudi Arabia, Israel, the UAE, and Qatar. And as the expat population mobilized to get out, something happened that became one of the most talked about details of the entire crisis. Pets were abandoned. Dogs were found tied to lampposts across Dubai's neighborhoods. Others were left in empty apartments. Some were dumped near animal shelters already overwhelmed with new arrivals. Veterinarians described being flooded with euthanasia requests. Animal welfare advocate Dominic Dyer documented the scale of it on social media, writing that after Iranian missile strikes, thousands of expats rushed to leave Dubai, and as flights filled, a quieter crisis unfolded as hundreds of pets were abandoned. Dyer described the people doing this as those who spent years showing off their Dubai lifestyle. The reaction was what you would expect: outrage, calls for accountability, anger at influencers who had built followings promoting their presence in the city and then left the living things that depended on them behind. But the abandoned dogs are not just a story about irresponsibility, they are a parable about the city itself. Because Dubai has always attracted people who come for a season or a career chapter or an opportunity and leave when the conditions change. That is the design of the place. And when the conditions changed faster and more severely than at any point in recent memory, the design revealed itself in the starkest possible way. The people who fled on private jets and the people who left their dogs tied to lampposts were both acting rationally within the structure of the city they had chosen. They were temporary. The dogs were a lifestyle accessory. When temporary became dangerous, they left. This is what a city built for departure looks like when everyone departs at once. But the fragility did not start with missiles. The streets were already telling this story 12 months earlier. In early 2025, the streets of Dubai were not empty. They were the opposite. They were so full that a prominent Emirati lawyer, Habib al-Mullah, broke a significant cultural and legal norm in the UAE, where public criticism of government management is constrained by strict speech laws. When he wrote on X that Dubai's traffic congestion demanded immediate and long-term mechanisms, he followed up with an opinion piece describing congestion as among the pressing issues for global cities like Dubai. This is not a foreign journalist complaining. This is a well-known Emirati legal figure operating within a system where such public statements carry weight precisely because they are rare. And he was saying, the traffic has become a crisis. A professor of tourism at Toronto Metropolitan University named Rachel Dodds had already issued a warning the previous year. She warned that the level of service was going to go down because operators could not keep up, and that suddenly they would not be able to offer the luxury experience many people said they wanted. And then the line that should have been heard more loudly. By that time, there would be nothing that Dubai would be able to do to recover. That was the picture in 2025. A city straining at its own seams, building faster than infrastructure could absorb, growing faster than the roads could carry, marketing luxury, while the lived experience of a Tuesday morning commute was degrading year on year. Then the missiles came and the traffic stopped. In the silence of the empty streets, you could see both things at once, how much had been built and how fragile the foundation it was built on actually was. Because here's the structural truth that the strikes made impossible to ignore. Dubai was built as infrastructure for global mobility, not as a place people are from. 89% of the population are expatriates. Emirati nationals are approximately 11%. The workforce is 90% non-citizen. This is not an accident. It is a deliberate policy architecture. The standard legal path to citizenship requires 30 years of residency, Arabic language fluency, a clean record, and government nomination. Even then, citizenship is granted selectively, not as a right. The city was designed to attract talent, capital, and tourism from around the world, without the political and social complexity of integrating those people into permanent citizenship. The deal was simple. You get the opportunity, the lifestyle, the tax-free income, the spectacle. We keep the sovereignty. And for years, that deal worked spectacularly, until the night when its implicit assumption that the city would always be the safest, most controlled environment available broke. Because when it broke, the people who were there on the terms of the deal had no permanent stake, no political voice, no citizenship rights, no bomb shelters, no social safety net, no community infrastructure designed for crisis. They had a parking garage and a $250,000 charter flight. And yet Dubai has come back from shocks before, and the resilience is real. The population fell 8.4% in 2020, the steepest drop in the Gulf during COVID, because tens of thousands of expatriate workers left when the safety net disappeared. And then within 2 years, the records came back. The hotel numbers, the visitor numbers, the investment numbers. The city's ability to rebuild demand is genuinely extraordinary. But rebuilding demand is not the same as rebuilding resilience. Demand rebuilds because the offer is compelling. The spectacle works. The connectivity, when the airspace is open, is unmatched. The tax regime remains attractive. What does not automatically rebuild is the answer to the deeper question. What kind of city does Dubai want to be when the offer is not just about what you can do here, but about whether you will stay when it gets hard? The empty streets will fill again. The planes will return. They already are. But the streets that were empty in March 2026 are asking a question that the press releases about air defense systems and recovery packages are not answering. What holds Dubai together when the promise breaks? If you were there when it happened, if you stayed, if you left, if you found a dog or lost one, if you were one of the people in a parking garage that night, I want to hear what that experience was like and what it changed for you. And if these questions about what cities are made of and what they owe the people who live in them matter to you, subscribe, because this is a conversation that goes well beyond Dubai.